Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Friday, June the 19th. Coming up in a couple of days is Father's Day, and it's our tradition. We have Larry Brown with us as we go into all the specific holidays. Larry has stories or reminiscence, and this also is a special day for Larry on Radio Friends. This is your 100th appearance. Is that right, Larry?
Yeah, 100 times on Radio Friends. My goodness. Yes.
And that doesn't even count Pepper and Friends.
Well, yeah, that was the decade before all this. Yes.
Right. But so to celebrate your 100th appearance with us and Father's Day, are you going to share some fond memories of Father's Day for you?
Well, yes, I am. At least a Father's Day theme. What came to my mind, and I'm sort of clustering these stories under the title In My Arms.
Okay.
Well, we recently moved into a different house, and we were attempting to downsize and sort and organize, the process of deciding what to keep, and that included photos, films, and slides from family. And so I was reviewing photos of my family. I have photos even from my parents and grandparents, and of course there was photos of my childhood. And I was particularly delighted to see those occasional photos of where there I am as an infant or as a child being held in my dad's arms. And then I saw some photos of being held in my grandfather's, both Grandfather Brown and Grandfather Hopkins' arms. I thought, oh, that's neat, because, you're always being held by your mom, your aunts and your grandmothers. But here was the dads and the family. And, of course, there were photos of my young adulthood, and there I was holding my children in my arms. And one particular photo I would just love looking at again, here I am in my university graduation cap and gown, the mortarboard and gown when I got my Bachelor of Arts, holding my toddler son in my arms. And then there's photos of me holding my daughter when she was an infant. Well, I ran across these old Super 8 movies that were filmed by my grandmother Brown. And here I was as a teenager, and here I was my high school graduation. Well, my grandparents would come to visit us regularly, and my grandmother would always film the visit. And here was this one film where they were visiting us in Indiana when I was in graduate seminary. And we have this amazing movie of my daughter taking her very first steps. And she walks across the room, and I pick her up and hold her in my arms. Just amazing capture on this old movie. Well, I had the Super 8 movies, transferred and translated so we can now see them on the computer. Well, I was reviewing all of these photographic memories, and there I was seeing again the symbol of being picked up as a father holds a child in his arms, the symbol of safety and security and love and mutual strength. And I ran across this photo of a family gathering for Christmas at my sister's home. At the time, she was living in Alabama. Now, we had all gathered there and took my grandfather Hopkins with us on that trip. He was in his mid-80s, and he had had both his legs amputated, so was in a wheelchair. And my father would often lift him, from the chair into the car and to help him get around. Well, one evening we were gathered, and I heard my grandfather cry from another room. And I went in there, and there he was, kind of caught between the wheelchair and the bed, falling down on the ground, pulling on the bedspread as he was sliding to the ground. Well, I ran over, and I got my grandfather and lifted him up, carried him in my arms, and put him back on the wheelchair. I rescued him, placed him there, and he whispered to me, "Don't let your dad know I was falling out of bed." And so I didn't tell my dad. It was a secret. Well, it's been 20 years now since my own father passed away, and many more years since my grandfather Hopkins. But I will always remember that moment of carrying my grandfather and seeing my dad carry him, and how in the same ways that circle was complete. As through the years we carried each other in our arms.
That's a beautiful story, Larry, and it is so true. The circle was complete there, and it's touching to realize that we all have that ability to reach out and help someone else, as we've been helped in the past.
Yeah. There are lots of symbolic things about Father's Day, but it's that the sort of strength of being in the arms of your father that not everyone gets a chance to experience, but it's certainly a lesson for all of us to have that sort of attitude that we
It is. There's something about, I can remember when I was a child, and we would, for a long time, I was an only child. It was me and my mom and my dad. My sister was born 9 years after me. But my father, we lived out in the country, and my father would go into the city, to St. Louis, to work, and it was almost an hour drive back from St. Louis till we get home. And in the summertime, if we were going to have a thunderstorm or severe weather, my mom and I would be concerned. But as soon as my dad pulled into the driveway, everything was fine. Even if we had the most severe winds and lightning and thunder, it was okay because Daddy was home now. There was just that strength that he brought back to the house, and we all felt protected and safe because he was home and he was with us no matter what was going on outside.
Now, not everybody has that kind of male figure in their life to do them, but there are others who play that role for us too. And that's, again, as you said, that's the thing maybe we all ought to strive for, is we become the strength, the security, the warmth, the protection for others. And in these days of chaos and crisis and pandemic and struggle for civil rights, that image of, we're the one that carry others, become the strength and security.
Well, Larry, thank you so much for sharing your personal thoughts with us today. I wish you a very happy Father's Day.
Well, thank you.
And I hope that you're spending it with the people that you love the most.
We certainly will.
All right. Larry Brown, and again, thank you for sharing 100 heartfelt songs and stories with us over the past on Radio Friends.
Well, my pleasure. Thank you, Paul.
Okay. And to all of you, all the papas out there, happy Father's Day to you. That's it for Radio Friends today. We'll see you on Monday with Heart of Missouri United Way. Bye-bye.